Segment 1, Bible reading. Read 4 chapters according to the BLB reading.
Jesus says good stuff. And when Jesus is talking about life the way it's supposed to be lived, Jesus talks to us about Adam and Eve in the garden, and he says in the and I think he can be trusted, and I think he's probably smarter and was closer to the information than any professor at any seminary. The book of Genesis, written by Moses. The people in the early days of creation, we're going to find as we study this book, lived a very long time. I personally believe that the atmosphere at the beginning of the world was very different. I think the radiation levels were probably different, and therefore stuff got big and lived a long time. I think that's one of the reasons why we have the fossil record of dinosaurs. Do you know that reptiles never stop growing as long as they're living? Do you know that? So the older the snake is, the bigger it is. So if you have a bunch of reptiles that, because of a different sort of atmosphere, live a very, very long time, then all of a sudden an iguana can end up looking a lot like a brontosaurus. And, of course, there is no... I found out there's no such thing as a brontosaurus. Now they call it something else, like a brachiosaurus, and I can't keep track of it all. I'm a Flintstones guy. It's always going to be a brontosaurus to me. But, you know, we have the fossil record of huge ferns, and we have fossil records of really huge people and really huge reptiles. And what the Bible tells us is that people live for a very long time, up until the time of the flood. We'll study that in future weeks. But after the flood, something changed in the atmosphere. Lifespan dropped off dramatically, and people began to die at a much earlier age. I share all of that to say this: because people live such a long time, the record of these first things, what took place in the very beginning, did not have to be handed down from generation, 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 generation. Because if you lived 900, 600 years, then you told your son, and 600 years later he told his son, and so these things were kept pristine and pure, and many of them were written down. And what we know is that Moses, who wasn't there at the very beginning, clearly, but Moses compiled these records, some of them probably oral, some of them written, and he put them all together, edited them, and gave us what we know as the 5 books of Moses, and in this case, the first book, Genesis. How do we know that Moses got it right? Because Jesus says it's good stuff. And when Jesus is talking about life the way it's supposed to be lived, Jesus talks to us about Adam and Eve in the garden, and he says, in the beginning, this is how it was, and this is how it should be. So, Jesus' stamp of approval is on the books of Moses, it's on the book of Genesis, it's on the creation account. And so really, if you want to just cut to the chase and figure out whether or not you can believe this book, you just got to ask yourself whether or not you believe Jesus. And some of you don't. And some people don't. And some people think he was just a freak or an egomaniac or a charlatan or a liar or a myth or whatever. But if you read the words of Jesus and you look at the works and the life of Jesus, if you look at the resurrection and his power to change lives,
Segment 1, Bible reading. Read 4 chapters according to the BLB reading plan. You must have blinded the eyes of the guards. Thank you for giving us your word, which may be physically imprisoned, but always available, never chained, and oh so freeing. In the name of Jesus, amen. That sounds like a pretty good one, so we'll keep that. And then another one I was excited to download, another recent app to the collection. is actually a newsreader of Christian music news. And the info on that one: LOL software to add a new RSS feed. Go to the add URL function and use the keyword search option. You can delete the help blog feed at any time. To add it again, go to the add URL function and enter LOL blog reader blogspot.com. Please search LOL software in the iTunes store for more news reader apps, and this is all done by lolsoftware.com. So, let's see what's in the news right now. Newsboys. And I'll read the top three. For the Newsboys, Born Again Miracles Edition in store April 5th. The Miracles edition of the Born Again album hits stores Tuesday, April 5th. Included on the new disc are 5 new songs, including Save Your Life and We Remember, plus 4 brand new remixes. Also look for a limited edition 3D cover in stores, which includes a free download of the Miracles video. The Miracles edition of the Born Again album hits stores Tuesday, April 5th. Included on the new disc... Oh, that's a complete copy of the first paragraph. Okay, cool. Rebecca St. James website. What's up with that? Oh, that's a video. I'm not going to watch the video just yet. What's the next story though? That's all videos. Those are all videos. We're not going to watch videos. Gospel music artist Kirk Franklin and his wife Tammy are featured on the cover of the April 11th issue of Jet magazine. They are a part of a series on how celebrity marriages balance family and fame. Kirk and Tammy Franklin recently celebrated 15 years of marriage together. Related posts, be sure to watch Kirk Franklin. Okay, that's number 3. And number 2. ChristianMusicPlanet.com stories Phil Wickham's Homesick, getting a fresh glimpse into the reality of heaven. Singer-songwriter Phil Wickham repledges his core beliefs, getting a fresh glimpse into the reality of heaven. Yeah, that's just duplicated. I gotta remember to watch for that. Alright, well, that's it for this little segment of That Christian Show. There are some more things I want to download, which I'll try out next time. I'm here to do this, but I've got some video editing to do. So, we're done. Chances are this is going to be on like That Christian Show or something. So, here is some examples of God as the great I Am in the Old Testament.
The Egg McMuffin all beach days. Experts are calling it the Egg McMuffin of science projects.
Exodus 3:14, on the mountaintop, and God said unto Moses, I am that I am, and he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me, Moses, unto you. Isaiah 41:4, who hath wrought and done it, calling the generations from the beginning? I the Lord, the first, and with the last, I am he. Isaiah 44:6, thus saith the Lord, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, I am the first, and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. Isaiah 48:12, hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my called. I am he, I am the first, I am also the last.